Yo, we back again. It's your friends. I'm Rico. This is Nico. I'm glad you woke up from your nap, boy. I didn't think you was gonna make it.
They don't need to know I'll be taking day naps.
Well,
Well, I mean, I went to bed at 1, and then I got up at like
because you putting on
5:15.
putting all that work in the gym. Mister, I don't use machines. I just
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I went to the gym before the podcast.
Yeah.
But I mean, yesterday I was on the phone for some reason.
Yeah, this
1 a.m.
Yeah, this is the third Hodge brother right here.
Why?
But yeah, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, topic today. Why does it take so much effort to break a bad or hurtful habit or relationship?
Because the best is the toxic. No, I'm just kidding.
Sometimes I never know what you become bad. I'm gonna get a censor button sometimes.
No, I didn't say anything.
I know. Go ahead, continue.
You don't like when I make those jokes.
Yeah, because
man, we gotta spice it up a little bit.
Spice it up a little bit. Why? Because you're Colombian and I happen to be Jamaican. Spice it up a little bit.
I'm just saying, it's I mean, all right. No seriousness.
All serious.
Why is it that? I mean, why is it difficult to break out
Why is it difficult?
a hurtful habit or relationship?
Mm-hmm. What?
Forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh my God.
Well, when you have a habit or a relationship, that's something you do every day. So at the end of the day, you got used to it. Our brains, our minds, they like it when things are what do you call it?
Predictable.
Mm-hmm. So you already know what you're doing, how you're doing it, because your mind doesn't want to wander into like something that might be risky, something that might not work out, but most importantly, something that'll make you uncomfortable. Okay. So if you're with someone and it's very crappy, it's bad, but if you leave, that'll be uncomfortable because you're not used to it, even though it's good for you. Same thing with habit. So if I have a crappy habit or of going out drinking every weekend and having like a horrible hangover the next day, mm-hmm. It's like, I mean, it's kind of, I don't want to say it becomes a part of you, but it becomes a part of your routine, mm-hmm. And your mind really appreciates that. So you don't want to break away from that.
Oh, okay, all right, fair enough.
That's what
I think.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think what makes it very hard to break a habit is because we are conditioned, and even though it might be harmful to us, to cause us pain, that routine is what we know. So we make accommodations to, we are mentally prepared to show.
You even make excuses and defend these habits or relationships to not leave them.
Yeah. So like you said, if a person's got terrible spending habits, they justify it by, well, I make money, okay, or someone basically doing something like, any type of habit. Well, I enjoy it, and I'm responsible in other places in my life.
Right.
I think sometimes the hardest thing in regards to relationships, because you have relationships with people, but you have relationships with things. You have relationships with, bad spending, bad eating, you have bad relationships, bad personal relationships with yourself.
Right, exactly.
But I think a lot of times when people have bad relationships with people and they continue them, is like you said, they're conditioned. That person, you're used to that person. You're used to working with that person, dancing with that person, or fighting with that person. And they feel that space. Likewise, they might be fulfilling something that might be difficult to get somewhere else. And like you said, the brain doesn't like to go against that because it's uncomfortable. The unknown factor is uncomfortable. What the brain knows, it knows and expects, but unknown is not expected. You can go into the unknown, but you don't know what's in the unknown. You just know it's unknown.
You just know it's not this, right?
It's just not this, and that's stressful and uncomfortable. Even though the unknown could be better, it's because it could be better. It's not guaranteed to be better. Because your brain says, I don't care what the routine is, how harmful it is, the routine is known. And there's no risk in the routine. There might be punishment in the routine. There might be suffering in the routine, but I'm not risking it being, that much worse in the unknown, even though the situation I'm in could get worse. You can see it scale up or scale down. You can see it, ebb and flow. But the unknown has no ebb and flow. It's completely unknown. So
exactly. So even though what you're going through at the moment is bad, you kind of don't want to leave it. Like I said, it's part of your routine now. And your brain doesn't want to leave that.
Yeah.
And also, I think Another reason is that when you have a bad habit or you're in a bad relationship, you don't leave it because just society and like everyone around you just makes it seem like it's acceptable and okay. So a lot of bad habits, like for example, like people who are glued to their phones, or you're driving, you're texting while driving, you're drink, doing all these things. A lot of people do it, everyone does it, so it doesn't seem like a bad habit anymore. It just seems like something that people do that's not good.
It's a
But
commonplace.
so it's okay.
Mhm.
Same thing as bad relationships. A lot of people are in fucking freaking stupid. Oh, damn it, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
What did you say?
I'm not gonna edit it. Go.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
They're in bad relationships.
They're in a bad relationship and they see other people around them in bad relationships with crappy people in crappy situations that they get themselves in. And then at the end of the day, they're like, it's too late now. And there's people. I mean, this isn't the only toxic relationship ever. And I mean,
it could be worse. Yeah.
It could be worse. And I mean, we do love each other, so I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
So it's just you're making excuses to not leave this habit or bad relationship, even though you know it's not good for you long term.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, the idea of the excuses is bad. You defend that which brings you detriment, just because of the way the mind works. I was just thinking, just in regards to I was thinking about villainy. Like I was thinking about how online, and I spoke about this somewhere else, and I was like, it's so crazy that a lot of people see themselves as the victim. A lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say I've ever seen on social media. There are people who do own what they've done. There are people who own what they've done to other people. But the vast majority usually they usually put themselves in the context and speak on themselves as having been done wrong and having been on the receiving end of terrible treatment. They're the ones that were in the toxic relationship, but they never say that they were the one that was toxic. They never say that they were the one that was actually abusive, or they equally contributed to that abusive relationship.
Because you have to contribute to it somehow. Even if you are the victim, you allow these things to happen little by little. So you didn't cause the toxicity, but you had a role to play.
And that's just a role to play. You might have facilitated it, especially for it to go on for a certain duration. And I know a lot of people try to call it, oh, you're victim shaming. I'm not shaming a person by saying acknowledge the variables of your involvement and your role in that. Because think about it, it was you and that person. You were there. And even if you say, I didn't have a choice to leave, we all have a choice. There might be great detriment and risk to leave, and you have to weigh those risks, but it's not like you don't have a choice. You have a choice in everything. When I think about overall, when I see people like, why do we find it so hard? I also have a weird idea to contrast. Why is it easy to break a good habit?
Oh,
yeah,
that's true. I hadn't
like
thought of
eating healthy. Eating healthy. For some people, right? Because I'm gonna let you talk on this. Eating healthy, exercise, speaking affirmations, being nice. Why is it that so many positive things that if you do it enough, it becomes a habit, becomes a routine? Why are good habits so easy to break? And why are they so hard to establish?
Yeah, like if you've never done it before.
Or to some degree. Like, why is that? Like, we go to the gym I guess an object at rest was to stay at rest, but an object in motion hopefully was just stay in motion as long as there's energy, there's some influence. I've fallen off the wagon twice in regards to going to the gym, but when I'm in the gym, I enjoy it. I know people who don't want to go to the gym initially to get off the hump, to push through that pain, to break that relationship they have with themselves and being unhealthy, to start getting healthy and building that relationship. But say a person's building that relationship and it's hard, maybe because it's difficult to do. It's difficult to create a good habit as opposed to a bad habit. And because you've had bad habits before, you're aware of them, you know what they feel like. And good habits, it's like good habits are always against gravity. Must be against gravity. And because you have to fight through to establish a good habit, you don't have to do anything to perpetuate a bad habit. It just gravitationally, bad habits go with gravity, good habits go against gravity. And maybe that's why it's like it takes so much more effort to establish a good habit than it is to establish a bad habit. But I was like, man, like,
I mean, if you see everybody with bad habits, that encourages you to
but yeah,
follow the trend,
somewhat,
basically.
maybe follow the trend, but you could see a bad habit as a bad habit. Like you could see bad characters, and you could see people who have habitual things that don't benefit them. You could see, a lot of bad situations. And I'm just wondering, like, do we live in a society that basically says those bad situations, like everybody's in this trauma validation. You're real and you're strong if you can shoulder and tolerate bad situations. No, that's ridiculous to me. Why do I have to tame my woman? Why do I have to fight at work? Why do I have to, beat out my competition? Why does everything have to be a battle? And then to reward me for my fighting and my battles, I get wasted and I smoke and I drink and I do whatever I want, and I because this is how we celebrate. And I spend my money and I splurge and I burn through my life that I want it to be as long as possible. I hate it when I get to my 50s and my 60s and up in age that, oh man, I wish I would have lived my life differently. I had a lot of fun, but I really wanted to have more fun longer.
That's
so
true.
you
can never have too much fun.
I don't know, man. I was watching this thing a long time ago that says from when we were like, cavemen to Neanderthals, that said because we didn't have a lot of access to salty, fatty, and sweet, it's kind of in our DNA that we gravitate towards to wanting it, desiring it, and it validates certain things. You've attained a certain level of security in your living if you can always have access to sweet, salty, and fatty. You basically need spices and sweets, honey and
Exactly.
things of that nature. So I think sometimes we even have the idea of bad habits in our DNA, which is crazy.
I think that's a good explanation. I mean, usually, we do gravitate toward the things that are bad for us. Because usually the bad things are just easier than the good. Like, I don't know if you've seen this like famous like thing that used to go on the internet. That was like they built the Twin Towers in like I don't know how many years, and it took like not even 5 minutes to bring them down.
Yeah, gravity. It's an aspect of gravity.
Gravity is a good example.
Yeah,
you can push something up like as hard as you can. Like they can build rockets like worth like millions and millions of dollars, and they really fight to come up. But for anything to come down, anyone can do it.
It takes excessive momentum,
Yeah,
and force to perpetuate anything against gravity. Because things are not really going up; they're going away from the center of, say, the Earth's gravity.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of what it doesn't take anything for magnets to come together. It's got to be close enough, but to pull them apart, you got to put more effort pulling them apart than them coming together.
Right. Exactly.
So I think that's a big aspect of it. But yeah, bad habits. I just hate for bad habits to be bad habits for things. Bad habits could be mindsets. But I really don't like when bad habits are people. Like when you have bad habits with characters and people, like picking the wrong people, entertaining the wrong people, engaging in the wrong activities with the wrong people. And what happens is it perpetuates these bad behaviors because there are people who completely embrace bad behavior, bad attributes, because that's where they live. The villainy of say humanity. And I was like, sometimes I was like, man, that needs to be stamped out, but you need to have contracts. You need to see the bad to really understand the good. To be like, oh, okay. You need to see unhealthy to really have an idea of what it is to be healthy. You need to see disease and decay to really understand the ramifications of what healthy really is. Experiences. You need to have experiences to know what's good and bad, what's a good outcome, as opposed to a not so good outcome.
Exactly.
So that is something, man. That is something. I just wish, I think we all know better than something. You know better, you're supposed to do better, but sometimes not doing better is fun. You don't want to do bad, but you want to do what feels good, even though it might be bad for you.
Because that goes back to the one podcast. We do things that are what we feel like.
Yeah, based on what we feel, because we want to feel a certain way. Like we want to live a certain. We do everything in life to basically feel a certain way. Like comfort. Comfort is a state of being. You are comfortable. Comfort is not awareness. Comfort is not epiphany. Comfort is not power. But through power, through being more knowledgeable, you can attain things that grant you comfort. And comfort is that feeling. Comfort is basically, if I smoke this or drink this, I can get away from myself and I'm comfortable being out of my body or whatever drugs. Comfort might be like, look, I'm in a penthouse suite. I can do whatever I want because I have the freedom because I've been afforded this. Comfort can just be I'm in a place that I'm just doing bare minimum and I'm just surviving, but I'm comfortable with this. So it can just be a mindset.
It's a big trap.
Yeah.
You gotta stay away from it.
Yeah, because comfort can be dangerous. Comfort, what you're willing to do, what you're willing to do, or what you're willing to allow to maintain some semblance of comfort, it can put you in dangerous place. Some people overdo it, and they'll be reckless and dangerous to try to ascertain comfort, and they'll destroy themselves and a lot of people on the way. Some people do absolutely nothing and destroy themselves into wallow in decay because they're comfortable with it. So there's a certain level of motion where people should be striving towards something, not just breakneck speed to get to a place recklessly, but steps, a healthy routine, not an unhealthy routine.
Exactly.
So yeah,
I agree with that.
You
Let us know down below all of your bad habits. Just list them.
No,
And
I don't know people bad habits.
We were talking about too much too soon and how it was okay.
Improve your routines. Look for things that can always add betterment to your life. And one of the best things you can do to add to your life and find enlightenment and betterment is subscribe, like, share, and even comment on this video to see. Let us know if this brought some enlightenment to your life.
It better did, and those views are
it better did. It better did. Yeah. First they have
I'm liking those numbers, everybody. Rico and Nico want to say thank you.
And I want to help you out with the vocab. We'll get on that. So better did. You better done did subscribe to our channel.
This is my second language. I can talk my little one.
Yeah, for a man who doesn't want to really speak Spanish. Y'all be good. All right, Nico. Appreciate you, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yo.